Crisp morning greets Vasantpur, our city of the eternal spring, towards the end of the year 2025. Apparently, you see, Quito is not the only city on earth that has spring all for herself around the year. By the window side of a hip and happening cafe, this eternal scribbler does a bit of thinking from that cafe, that hip and happening cafe, and he tries to dissolve that beautiful morning in a cup of neat black Nepali tea and have it all sip by sip as part of his attempt to just organize his thoughts into a piece of writing. What else? A piece of presentation also. By the way, if you have not subscribed to this channel, I request you to subscribe to it, comment on our presentation, and press that like button. Your support means quite a lot to us as we just strive to just promote citizen journalism that is far, quite far, imaginably far as your imagination goes, that is far from corporate feed and corporate greed. So we request you to just support us in every possible way. Let's continue with this presentation. Balmy rays of the sun percolate from that window. They cast a golden hue on the curios, that just look like some grain put up for harvest in the sun, that kind of thing. They cast a golden hue on curios, old and new, at Vasantpur Square, original and knockoff, as their owners look at passing tourists expectantly, hoping to just do some brisk business in these days when things are not like going honky dory for the national economy. So, that is the brief overview of Basantapur early in the morning. Let me show you some of the curios out there that were on display on that day. Some dreaded, some benign curios out there. This is a view of from that cafe, that trendy, that hip and happening cafe. By the way, I was trying to solve also some puzzles, chess puzzles from this Bobby Fischer book on this chess at that beautiful morning. You see, in this one of a kind city of ours, things are available almost for everyone under the sun and beyond, depending, you see, on their purchasing power. What else? Isn't it? After all, where else do you see backpackers sipping tea and feasting on doughnuts with ordinary Nepalese with extraordinary potential? This very potential, pushes them away from home to global metropolises, sweatshops, and other so-so workstations, you see. With the Hilton gone in a collective fit of rays, along with the headquarters of the three organs of the state, plus provincial and local nerve centers. I'll show you some pictures of that thing that happened just recently. Okay. Uh, How about us promoting a new strain of tourism? You see, ruinous tourism that involves visiting ruins, taking Wi-Fi's, and selfies in the aftermath of the September 8 and 9 protest in a bedlam republic struggling perennially to establish an ideal state in the parlance of Plato, and Ram Rajya in the parlance of Balmiki, the great poet of the Ramayana fame. You see, this striving goes on. It has been going on for quite some time. Decades on end. Even through the tinted glasses of the restro, things do not look quite rosy a bit beyond. At the Basantpur Square, at the Basantpur Square, the ancient-looking Hotel Sugat looks sadly over a measly collection of trinkets and valuables such as gems and masks of deities, as if a granny were looking sadly at a poor harvest, which is hardly enough to feed her big family for 6 months, for even 3 months, leave alone a year. Thanks to a shrinkage of farmlands and plummeting decline, a plummeting soil fertility. These are indeed difficult times for the Nepali economy, for the media as well. It is at a crossroads, and I cannot reiterate enough the support that we need, because we need funds to produce contents that can be like enlightening, that can just trigger some thoughts. So I request you, I reiterate that you support this citizen journalism initiative. Let's continue. Those were the times, in the words of Granny, and these are the times, isn't it? Good old Granny. But who on earth has the time in this young and fleeting republic to listen to her old yarns? From the vantage point of Mazudega, this presenter, this scribbler, sees an ancient looking Garud. I'll show you the Garud, the sunbird that is the vehicle of Lord Vishnu, with his left knee folded along with his hands, waiting for his lordship Vishnu to arrive for a trip of the world and beyond. All without travel documents, of course. Eons have passed, yet the sunbird has not heard from his master, Vishnu. Even in this day and age of the internet and just communication at the tip of your fingertips. That's sad, isn't it? Indeed. Has, I wonder, has his lordship also left Nepal for abroad and landed in one of those prestigious museums, in one of those metropolises, with very, very slim chances of a return and the resumption of intergalactic tours? Northwards from the window of another ancient temple, the couple of Uma and Maheshwar watch at the courtyard. They watch at the courtyard with a smile. They have been smiling for ages, hoping perhaps for lakhs of their prodigal children to return home and bring in good times. As a flock of pigeons fly over Mazudega, perhaps to feast on another shower of maize from selfie and Wi-Fi enthusiasts someplace else, a porter finally has a great treat at the end of a hard day as he is driven in his cart by an assistant, perhaps to his comely quarter, even as the sunbird keeps waiting for his master eternally. This is an irrelevant picture, so I showed you with a mistake. That was a mistake. And then, alas, the sunbird cannot become Vishnu and vice versa, even in this revolutionary republic, even after endless cycles of birth and death, can he? As Corleone says in The Godfather, as Don Corleone says in The Godfather, you are what you are, and the world is what it is. As the last of the pigeons leave and the dusk sets in, this scribbler leaves too, after the day's wait for the good times. At the exit, where he had a cuppa, mellifluous music flows once again, all for free this time around. This triggers a thought. How about organizing a mega musical event at Vasantpur by involving the maestros from Sursida, Kutumba, and other globally acclaimed bands in our serious attempt to bring in the good times and a much needed healing for the country and her peoples. That's just a thought. Across time and space, this ancient country has seen good times and more than her fair share of bad times. From the ashes of death and destruction, it has risen like the proverbial phoenix, giving the world a pleasant surprise with every phenomenal rise. It's time to celebrate this undying spirit with a musical and invoke the phoenix within. Let the good times rule. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening.